consecutive successful combat missions. However, on his 75th mission, his F-4 Phantom fighter plane was shot down by a surface-to-air missile. The plane exploded with some 12,000 pounds of jet fuel, flipping the plane topsy-turvy, end over end, down toward a rice paddy. Charlie was forced to eject. The only thing between him and imminent death was his parachute. Finally, he felt the shock of the opening canopy. During the 90 seconds of descent, he was constantly being shot at. Charlie made it down to the ground alive, but was then captured and spent 2,103 days brutally treated in a prisoner of war in communist Vietnam prison camp. Many years after being repatriated, Charlie and his wife and another couple were sitting in a little restaurant in Kansas City waiting to go to a show. 2 tables over, a guy kept looking at Charlie. Charlie looked back at him but didn't recognize him. Repeatedly, he kept catching this guy staring at him. Finally, the guy stood up, walked over to Charlie's table, and said, "You're Captain Plum." Charlie looked up at him and said, "Yes, I am Captain Plum." The guy said, "You flew jet fighters in Vietnam. You're a fighter pilot, part of that Top Gun outfit. You launched from the aircraft carrier Kitty Hawk, you parachuted into enemy territory, and you spent 6 years in a prisoner of war camp." Somewhat dumbfounded, Charlie looked up at the guy and asked, "How in the world did you know all that?" The man said, "Because I packed your parachute." Charlie was speechless. The man grabbed Charlie's hand and pumped his arm and said, "I guess it worked." Charlie laid awake that night thinking about all the times he had walked through that long, narrow room with tables where the men packed the parachutes below sea level on the aircraft carrier. How many times he must have walked past this man without even saying hi, good morning, good job, or I appreciate what you do. Think about this for yourself. How many times in life do you pass the people who help you out the most? The people who come out of the far corners of your life just when you need them the most and pack your parachute. The people who go the extra mile, the people who don't look for kudos or accolades or the achievement medals or even a bonus check. So I ask you, who is packing your parachute? Everyone has someone who provides what they need to make it through the day. It's important to point out that Plum needed all of his parachutes. His physical parachute, mental, emotional, and spiritual. He called upon all of those before reaching safety. Sometimes in the daily challenges of life, we miss what is really important. We may fail to say hello, please, or thank you, congratulate someone on something wonderful that has happened to them, or give a compliment, or do something nice for no reason. The lives you touch are far-reaching, and we usually never know how far and how different things would be without each of us. As you go through the week and the month and this year, recognize the people who pack your parachute. Remember that we may never be in a situation like Charlie Plum and need the parachute to save our lives, but the parachutes we pack may be just as important in the life of someone we may never know.
Do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Murph. Thanks, Bob. In light of Murph's reflection, and I know I did this a couple of weeks ago, but I would like all of the veterans that are here to please stand up so we can recognize you. I know there's a couple vets here. Thanks for having our back. Next, I'd like to recognize our sponsor, Donna Bogan of Hartman Bogan Financial Planning, and she is the sponsor for November. And next, if anyone has any guests, would you please go to the floor mic and introduce them for us?
Good afternoon. I have two guests with me, my two law clerks. Please stand. Ben Soroka. Ben's a Toledo native, and he wears stripes sometimes in the evenings and on weekends, not prisoner stripes, but rather a basketball referee. Attended UT Law School. Caleb Kennedy, Illinois native, Princeton undergrad, U of M Law School, and he's been with me a year and a half, and he'll be leaving at some point next year on to pastures which are yet to be defined.
Thanks, Jack. Welcome, Ben and Caleb. Anybody else out there? I would like to welcome the president-elect and the vice president, Cindy Binkley and Travis Tangeman, up here to give us an announcement.
Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Cindy, not Travis. And last month, Travis and I had the opportunity to go to the Large Club Conference down in Cincinnati. It's a conference that Kathy had attended for many years and had always talked very highly of it. So we went down there for 3 days and had the opportunity to meet with about 60 clubs from around the country, their executive directors, president-elects, and nominee-elects, which is the role that Travis is in. And it was an opportunity to sit in some really good little seminars from like climate, which really wasn't climate, it was more about a Rotaract. A gentleman that had joined Rotary in college and then went on to be a member, and from there he was so involved that he started a water program in Haiti, and soon he will be the youngest district governor in all of Rotary ever. So very influential young man. And then we also had talks on cybersecurity, marketing, membership, things of that nature. But I'd have to say the most, that we got the most out of the social events, which were very well planned and fun downtown in Cincinnati, and had the opportunity to have great conversations in an informal way to learn about what other clubs are doing to grow their membership, how they've responded to the pandemic, and things that we can bring back here to try on our club to grow our membership and expand what we're doing already.
What she said. So actually, what was great about it, we touched on a lot of points. Cindy mentioned quite a few, but some of the takeaways that Cindy and I had from this conference kind of focused on areas like recruitment and membership, and how do we, as a club, now that we're coming out of this virtualized world we've been stuck in, how do we start charting our path, getting people involved again? I think we are a strong group right now. We've all shown our commitment to the club through this pandemic time, but now it's, what do we want to be? What do we want to grow up to be? How do we get people engaged again and excited to be here? Because until we get our own membership excited, it's hard to bring new people in. So again, we really want to focus on how do we get this club together and working together and having some fun. What was interesting, a lot of the large clubs have very similar issues in that they want to do these lovely grand events, and getting attendance is often very difficult. So what they've done is actually segment their clubs in a lot of different ways. So whether that's young professionals, whether that's by industry, whether that's by geographic residents, they do small little happy hours in certain neighborhoods hoping to draw people together who happen to live near each other. But then how do we just keep finding ways to bring different personalities, different locations, different whatever it might be, instead of always trying to hit a home run, how do we just keep getting people involved in small ways so that they want to keep reaching out and meeting other people within the group without it always having to be some ginormous event? So that was a big portion of the membership side of things. One of the things that was interesting was Kathy was part of what she called a flyover club state group with a bunch of other executive directors. And it was clubs that she met regularly with that had similar challenges as us. And going forward, Cindy and I looked at it and said, we think we should create our own type of flyover club of similar groups, but kind of do it along the I-75 corridor. And take the large clubs starting up in Ann Arbor and head south towards, Louisville, Nashville, and start bringing that string of clubs together because we're all in a very similar situation. We can share ideas, we can share things, we can also share challenge missions. How do we take on other clubs with different, fun projects? But just learn from each other. Because what I learned from some of these other clubs is while they have the same challenges, we're all approaching things very differently. And although we've done great things over the years, let's try some other things as well. So all in all, I just need to say thank you to the club for sponsoring the two of us to go to the event. We both found it very helpful and gave a lot of fire and spark going into next year and the following. So if anybody ever wants to hear more about it, I'm happy to sit down and talk. But thank you.
That's the future leadership of your club. Get to know them. They're going to help focus our vision forward, and hopefully we'll move forward. Like I said, they got a lot of great ideas. And speaking of new leaders, our executive director, Jackie Bugay. For those who have not met Jackie yet, you've probably seen her check you in up front, and she's got a couple announcements also.
Hello, hello, good afternoon. So I'm slowly learning who all of you are, so thank you for being friendly and welcoming to me. Just briefly, we have decided to be a participant in the Parade of Trees here at the Toledo Club, and that is coming up at the end of this month, beginning of December. And we are looking for people who love Christmas and are creative-minded and love to decorate. So if you fit those couple of criteria, please let myself and or Alex know, because we need some helpers to decorate our Christmas tree. Secondly, we have a holiday party coming up, our annual Rotarian Toledo Club holiday party, and that is going to be December 10th at the Toledo Country Club from 5 to 7:30. If you would like to RSVP in advance, that would be much appreciated for a head count. The event is free of charge, and spouses and significant others are included. So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jackie, and welcome. She forgot to mention there is a cash bar. All right, now on to our program. I would like to invite Judge Jack Zuhari up to introduce our speaker, Tony Washington.
Good afternoon again. The law brought Tony to Ohio, the Dayton Law School, where his parents met. He headed north on I-75, arriving on the University of Toledo campus in 2008. This intro, by the way, is not in the Rotary Spoke. He played 4 years for the Rocket football team. During his gridiron career, he had several highlights, including a memorable 13-10 win against that team up north in the Big House. He also had some lowlights. Oh, applause. Go Bucks. He also had some lowlights, including an appearance on ESPN's Top 10. Why a lowlight? Well, he was featured defending, sort of, the receiver on the other team who caught the touchdown pass. Tony's love of athletics led him to amateur volleyball, where his coach would later become his mother-in-law. She apparently taught him more than spiking. Tony and his partner Elizabeth live in Toledo with their daughter Noelle. I learned that Tony's grandmother was a longtime lawyer for the Red Power Ranger, and his grandfather was the first black man to graduate from the UCLA vet school. And Tony and I share a passion for prisoner reentry and cheese, one of the 3 things always in his fridge, along with OJ and vegan chicken tenders. Tony began his career after UT as a social worker with the Zeph Center here in downtown Toledo before pursuing a successful stint in sales and marketing. He joined Bitwise Industries earlier this year, where he is the business development manager for the company's newest project, converting the Jefferson Center just across the street from this club into a workforce development and innovation center. I'm delighted to welcome Tony, a former Toledoan, back to town to share with you the mission of our exciting new neighbor next door.
Thank you, Jack. That was unexpected. I want to start off just by thanking everybody in this room. A big thanks to Walter. I've been driving him crazy the last 3 weeks trying to get this presentation out of me. So I wanted to, give him a big thanks. I also wanted to thank our sponsors, Hartman and Associates. Obviously, we couldn't make this happen without you. Let's see if I can get this to work. So, it seems as Judge Zowery has covered my complete bio, so I think we can skip this page. But yeah, he literally, I didn't tell him any of that, so he's been stalking me, clearly. But I mean, we'll get to the meat and potatoes of it. So what is Bitwise? Bitwise Industries is a technology company. I guess I don't have to stand so close to the mic, do I? We're a technology company that goes into underestimated cities, and we create technology economies. The way we do that is through 3 branches. We have our workforce training. We go into underserved communities, and we train people from underserved, marginalized systemic issues, and we get them training in programming, coding, through a 6-week course. It's $250 a week. And at the end of this course, 80% of the people that complete it are actually placed by us into an apprenticeship program. In that apprenticeship program, they can earn up to $40,000 to $60,000 while learning how to become a full-time programmer and becoming credentialed, so they can, pursue other technology opportunities. The second part of that is the part that I manage personally, and that's technology consulting. We can our goal is to help existing businesses here in Toledo scale via technology solutions. Any custom software, CRMs, we implement Salesforce. If you need a website revamped, if you need a website created, we can take care of that for you. And then the third part, which Judge Zowery mentioned and that you guys see quite often, is the Jefferson Center. So our goal for the Jefferson Center is to create a tech acceleration hub. We want people here in Toledo to have somewhere they can go with their great idea, and we can connect them to the resources to get it off the ground and create new business here in Toledo instead of the typical brain drain that we see with the coast. And especially being such a rich area, we have so many universities here, yet we can't keep our students here. This is one of those ways we can create entrepreneurial opportunities to keep them grounded here in Toledo. So speaking of our ecosystem, a big part of Bitwise is that we want to grow diverse tech economies. If you take a look at this, 6 out of 10 of the people that are working in our technology department are either Black or Latinx. 6 out of 10 are female, non-binary, or gender non-conforming. 4 out of 10 are first-generation immigrant, and 4 out of 10 are LGBTQA+. The reason why I mention this is that these aren't communities that you typically think of in the tech industry. And what my concern has been, and what our founder, Irma Olgwin's concern was, is that these people are going to get left behind in a digital age. What I've read and what I've seen, and if you read the Future of Work report for 2025, is that a lot of these essential worker positions that we see failing to be filled now are going to be replaced by technology. They're going to be replaced by automated systems. So what happens to these essential workers when those jobs no longer exist? Bitwise hopes to become the arc to these people and a digital new age, because they're either going to get drowned by the flood of technology and not having the skill set to actually move forward in a new economy, or they're going to get picked up on the boat and go with us and not leave anybody behind while the city of Toledo is growing. And this isn't just some grandiose idea. This is already working. It's already working in Bakersfield. It's already working in Fresno. We've been in business for 8 years now. We've received $100 million in funding. We've partnered with some of the biggest partners here in Toledo, including ProMedica, KeyBank, Owens Corning, along with many others. And through all those partnerships, I've seen that there is a collaborative vision for Toledo. There is an energy, there is cash flow, and we have the people with the right intentions working together to create something really special here within the next 5 to 10 years. What we saw in Fresno is that our 5 Bitwise cities we have now are currently, on average, growing at 1% municipal GDP per year. We're also creating 4.3 jobs for every tech job that we create. So we're not only creating tech jobs, but we're creating jobs to support those jobs. And the reason why this is important is Bitwise isn't just about helping underserved communities. Bitwise isn't just about helping big businesses. Bitwise is here to help everyone. If we can grow the economy for everyone, if we can get these people that are in these systemic issues help, if we can get them money, if we can get them training, if we can eliminate the barriers that they typically see, then what we've found is that they can help their family members that are struggling. So we don't see people sleeping on the sidewalks. We don't have as high of a crime rate because they have family, they have support. There's a will to learn once you have taken care of all your survival needs. And Bitwise knows that. Not only are we going to have daycare in the Jefferson Center, we're going to provide transportation. We're going to have food banks come in with a food store, so if you're struggling for food, we can take care of you. The only thing we care about at Bitwise is you learning and you making your family better. The most important criteria for our apprenticeship program is not who gets the highest grades. It's not who does the most. It's who's going to have the biggest impact on the people around them. And that's kind of the vision of Bitwise. So this kind of just gives you an idea of some of the Bitwise cities that are on our map. So Oakland, Merced, Fresno, Bakersfield, we have buildings there. They're up and running. We're already seeing these concepts at work. But we have a lot of cities actually on the horizon here. Our goal is to bring this to underdog cities everywhere. And we already have people on the ground in Buffalo. We have people on the ground in Detroit. We have people on the ground in Cleveland. I'm actually heading down myself on November 22nd to Dayton to meet with the officials there to talk about doing a Bitwise thing there. So a lot of momentum, a lot of good things happening, and it really feels like good work, and the community's really come behind it. So how would you engage with Bitwise? Well, there's a few ways that we could do that. Obviously, we have our workforce training, so that would be in any way you can support us. I'm creating a lot of pipeline programs right now. So I've actually met with Catherine Mennick at Stride Incorporated. They're the second largest virtual school in the nation, and we're hoping to create a pipeline program straight from their program into Bitwise. The reason why that's important is in the meetings that I've been having with ProMedica and with KeyBank and all these major stakeholders in the city is that we're on the verge of a workforce shortage. As I said, this digital new wave is coming. We're going to need people to fill these jobs. We're going to need skilled people to take on. Essentially, we're building a digital trade school. And the way that we do that is we actually work with companies and we ask you, in your 5-year projection, what do you think you'll need? We'll cultivate the workforce for you. We don't have to have it already made. Let us know what you need, and we'll create specific programming to make it your dream come true within the next 3 to 4 years. Technology consulting, I mentioned that earlier. Any custom software needs that your company would have. CRM implementation, websites, apps, smart websites. We take care of all of that. It's a complete custom software solution. So if it's something that I haven't mentioned and you have a great idea, let's talk, and we can most likely make it happen. And then we also have outsourced managed IT services. So cloud migration, any architectural design issues, things like that, we can go ahead and we have a team in Fresno that would actually take care of that for you as another branch of your organization. So what does the workforce training look like? Well, it starts out with a self-evaluation. This is, if you want to put it that way, it's a filter program. We want to make sure that you're serious. We want to make sure that you're committed. because we don't want to waste time. We're not about wasting time and helping everyone. We want committed people in our program. So we have our self-evaluation workshops, boot camps. That's kind of that initial 6-week program. Then we have our pre-apprenticeship program. This is where you're going to be actually working on real-life projects that are handed over from the custom software side, gaining experience under the umbrella of senior developers. And then you get into the full-blown apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program, like I mentioned earlier, these are true apprentices. They are Bitwise employees, they work on our projects, and then 6 months to 12 months, once the program's over, 100% of the people that go through our apprenticeship program are either hired by us or we place them with another company. So what does it look like to work with a Bitwise? We see our client process as more of a partnership. Everything we do is hand in hand with the people that we work with. There's no project that's going to be the same, and we understand that. Our goal is to, one, engage with you. Then we want to immerse in your dream. We don't want to just know what your vision is. We want to feel it. We want to be it. We want to come together, and we want to move forward once that is 100% on the same page. We envision it. We're going to construct that outline for what that looks like for you, pricing, timing, all of that. Let's see exactly, we'll have checkpoints at certain areas so we can check in and say, hey, is this still the vision that we were hoping for? And then we execute. Obviously, we're going to create your vision, validate, come back to you and say, hey, this is what we talked about. Is it everything that you wanted? If it's not, we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll do it again. Our goal is to give you exactly what you want and then deliver. So like I said earlier, we do mobile applications. We're hoping to get you with mobile users, extend your brand recognition and authority, and then we're really looking to automate that customer process. Web applications, smart websites, Salesforce consulting. So if you need to optimize your organization via a CRM, or if you're already using Salesforce, what we've found is that of the clients that are using Salesforce, their people are only using 10% of that functionality. So our goal is to increase that sales productivity by giving you the tools that you're already paying for and being able to better utilize them. And then, like I said, we do the managed services. And then we have the real estate, the Jefferson Center. The goal is to create a tech hub. We're also going to be leasing out office space. So we want any organization that wants to grow, that wants to be in this collaborative effort to reach out to us, and we will have about 100 offices. It's pretty large in there. And then we're also putting in a daycare, a lunchroom, and a lot of things to come. So we're just really looking to revitalize and restore the heartbeat of Toledo. We're the Toledo Club, the Jefferson Center. We are the center of Toledo, and I think that it's a perfect opportunity to grow from here. I think this is where the catalyst of the next phase of Toledo starts. So I want to change the narrative for what success looks like for a lot of people in this area now. And that's really it. If you want to work with us, please reach out to me. I think there's avenues in a lot of different ways, but everybody that I've collaborated with so far has been really engaging and very welcoming. And I humbly present myself. If there's any way I can help you, or if there's any way we can work together, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tony. If anybody's got any questions, please come to the floor mic. Good job.
There we go. Great presentation. Thank you. We've all wondered what you all are about. But my question is, how do you recruit and find those individuals that need help helping themselves in our entire Northwest Ohio economy?
Absolutely. So we have a couple different ways, and that's something myself and my partner, Vice President Tammy Sherman, have been working on. We're looking to create partnerships or pipelines, if you will. I was just at Pinta Career Academy. They have an IT program over there, and exactly what they're studying is in alignment with what we're studying. So I'm saying, hey, why waste marketing, do all this? We can do this directly together. Send me your students that aren't going to go to a college or to a trade school or something like that, and we can get them career-ready skills right now. So I'm looking to develop pipelines. We haven't started our marketing push yet, as you probably know, but once the building's a little closer to getting done, we're going to have a community outreach coordinator and a whole marketing team here to kind of get ready for that unveiling, and then that's really when the public will be made aware. But now we're just kind of looking at partnerships to get as many people in the door as possible. Because one of the things that I was worried about was, hey, what if we scale too fast? You know, this is a great idea. There's gonna be a lot of people that want to do it. And what I was reassured was that there's no possible way we can have too many people. We will make it work. Our goal is to impact as many people as possible. So if there is anybody who has, you know, a link to that, to a school district, to any of these individuals who may not be going to college or to a vocational school, I would love to talk and see how that looks.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's awesome. I'm in the IT field. This is exactly where we should be going with this. Beyond programmers and that level, do you have any thoughts on support type staff training, whether that be phone support or any other below programming level, but how to support those efforts beyond that?
Absolutely. So how do we get people those fundamentals to even be ready to come to Bitwise? Yeah, so I've been working with several different agencies, and Ebert at Cherry Street. They have a program that kind of gives people those fundamental skills. So I'm trying to see what that model looks like. But really, we're new to the area. Me and Tammy are coming to things like this to make those connections so we can create a custom plan for Toledo. Because what worked in Bakersfield, what worked in Merced, isn't going to be the exact blueprint for what works here. So we're really looking for input from the community to create these very strong partnerships to where the economy feeds itself, if you will. Yes.
For being here. I want to just clarify one thing that Judge Zuhairi had said in his introduction when we all clapped about the Toledo, Michigan score.
Yes.
He said go Bucks. I clapped because of go Rockets. So
Yeah, go Rockets.
just want to make sure we're clear here.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Just making sure you know I'm not picking that side. Talk a little bit about, to go Irish. So talk a little bit about timeline for the building, and then how quickly are you guys interested in taking on tech projects from businesses here in Northwest Ohio?
Immediately. So the two things that we have actually rolling right now is we've actually started our second class, which was the largest class for any Bitwise location. We had 28 students. We actually had to go buy laptops because we weren't ready for that many people to be interested before the marketing campaign. So we've already started our classes, and then as far as custom software development, I'm already in talks with a few people here in town, but any projects or anything you want to put on my radar, I would love to talk about it. Because I guess the biggest thing about that makes us different than other custom software developers is that every dollar that you put into us is eventually going to go back into the City of Toledo, and in a big way. So yeah, get a hold of me. I would love to, any custom software dev or how we can work together, I would love to connect.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for being here once again. Quick question about upskill and training for the essential jobs you say are going to disappear, which I totally agree with you from a demographic perspective.
We're not going there.
Yeah, I don't mean to go there. Demographic perspective. Essential jobs are just going to shift. They'll be run by technology, but then they're going to have the same number of jobs necessary to supply support to that tech. How do you go about incorporating people like in unions that need to be upskilled? Have you looked at that sector yet, or is that something that may be coming?
That is something I have not looked at, if I'm being honest. I would love to connect. That's somewhere where I don't have a ton of connections already established. Coming from a community role and the business role, I had a lot of connections there, so I've just been starting there. I've only been with Bitwise 4 months now, so it's definitely a fire hose situation. But That being said, I'm glad you brought that up because that was brought up in a recent meeting. So there may be something there. I would love to connect and explore it further. But as far as what I'm working on personally, I haven't made any of those connections.
Tony, I wondered if there was a cost to any of the attendees and also to the companies that you serve. How do you figure that out?
If there's a cost.
Yeah, do they pay tuition? Do they?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So in terms of our workforce training, it is $250 a week. It's a 6-week course, but we also have financial aid available. So we kind of go on a case-by-case basis. Like I said, our goal is to eliminate barriers. So if you don't have $2,000 to invest in your education right now, we'll find a way to work around it. And we're also looking for community partners to kind of subsidize that. And being both a public and privately owned company, we have our hands are in a lot of different pots. So we're trying to organize all that. But I think I lost. What did you say again? I'm sorry.
When you have your trainees go and work for companies, do they pay a commission to you, or you just place them?
So we have placements, but we're not like well, we do have staff augmentation. So, but the way that works is that they would still be a Bitwise employee. We have staff that we can loan out to you, say programmers, developers, they'll sign a contract for 6 months or so, but they still are technically a Bitwise employee, and they would come back. But as far as the contract work,
You're not an employment agency.
we're not an employment agency, but that is something we're open to. So if we can find partners, the thing that Irma says, our founder, is that we're building the plane as we're flying it. So a lot of this is being put together based on need. Yeah, that's startup. Yeah, that's startup land for you. They're just like, okay, we'll tell you what's happening tomorrow. But yeah, no. So we are open to that. I'm looking for all partnerships and how we can collaborate. I think that in this day and age, every company is a tech company. So I think there's a pathway to partnership to pretty much everyone here. And not being native to Toledo, I came here from Los Angeles, and then I lived in Dayton. Being here the last 13 years and seeing firsthand the work that really the people in this room have done to build this thing up is so incredible. And I'm very humble. I'm very grateful to have been able to speak to you guys and spread this mission. And the implications seem very, very big for Toledo soon.
So 2 questions came in off Zoom.
Okay.
We've got a handful of folks that are watching on our Zoom stream as well. So I'll just give you both of them, let you handle them.
Perfect.
First one, is there an age range that you work with or other requirements for people to enroll in
The workforce training.
the workforce program? And then also, can you share your contact information before you go?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the age range, 18 plus. So they have to be older than 18. Outside of that, we really have no requirements. Like I'm looking for underserved, marginalized communities. So having a background with formerly incarcerated people, I'm looking for reentry programs that can pipeline into us. I was talking with Tim Minke over at Law Industries. I said, if you have anybody who's high functioning, who loves computers, send them over to me, because that's where my heart is, having started in the community work. So they'll always get first dibs. But there's no barriers to who can apply. We're all remote right now, so they don't even have to live in Toledo, technically. Yeah, I think that answers it. Wait, what was the second one? Contact info. So I have 12 concussions, so if you catch me losing my sentence, that's what's happening. So my contact info, my phone number, if you want to write it down, I didn't put up a page here, but how should I share this? What would be the best way?
If you got an email, maybe, we can also put it in our newsletter, The Spoke, next week when we summarize.
Yeah.
So you can get that to Jackie.
That's perfect. Or I can just personally give you everyone my business card. But my email is awashingtin at bitwiseindustries.com. So anybody wants to reach out, I'm probably going to make the rounds here so I can try to get contact info to most of you. But yeah, Washingtin at bitwiseindustries.com. Or you can contact my VP, T. Sherman, at bitwiseindustries.com.
Tony, don't run away. Remember, I have a gift for you. Hiding under all this. We'd like to, in appreciation, give you a book called Historical Tales of Toledo. It's by a past president of Toledo Rotary, Clint Mock, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that. And also, we would like to make a donation to the Polio Plus Foundation in your name.
Really? That's amazing.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And since we have a little time before Chuck comes up and we have some announcements, Murph, could you come up and give us a little foundation update, please?
I'm sure nobody knows this yet, but I'm very proud and honored to have been asked to chair this year's annual campaign. I really thought only important people got that honor, but I'm happy to have it. It doesn't seem possible that within this year I will have been in Rotary 50 years. I earlier asked you to open your hearts and minds. Now, as the campaign chairman, I've got to ask you to open your wallets. We belong to the 44th Rotary Club ever established, 1912, and still going strong. A lot of history to live up to. Our Toledo Rotary Club is made up of men and women with diverse occupations and strengths, which give us a unique look at the world. Our shared passion for service helps us accomplish the remarkable. Our multidisciplinary perspective helps us see challenges in unique ways, and we find unique solutions. The Rotary Club of Toledo has a rich history of both service and philanthropy in our community and globally. We should be proud of our rich heritage. However, with heritage comes responsibility. Responsibility to be good stewards of our gifts given to our foundation. The foundation is what makes our club so unique and relevant. It provides us an opportunity to continually contribute $200,000 a year to organizations that provide much needed help in the area community. In order for the foundation to continue to give the current levels, we must raise approximately $80,000 by the end of June 2022. In the next few days, you'll be receiving a letter from me asking for your support for this year's annual campaign. You may make your commitment by check or credit card using the return envelope or by going to ToledoRotary.com on your computers. My wish is that we reach at least 60% of our goal by the end of this calendar year, 2021, then move on to reach our total goal by June of 2022. That means I'm asking 200 members to contribute at whatever level is convenient and you can manage before year's end. This need is great in this COVID year. The ask is large. If you can, please consider becoming a member of the President's Club by giving a minimum of $250. Thanks again for asking me to be the chair of the annual campaign for this year, and please consider who is packing your parachute.
We really expect 100% of our members to make some donation to the foundation. I don't care if you can only afford $20 a month, or 25, or a one-time donation. But really, it is a duty as a member of the Rotary Club of Toledo to help support our foundation. So we truly do expect that. Give up lunch like I do usually. Not for my foundation donation, but it's only a few bucks a month. You can afford that. Next, I would like Chuck Mann, past president, to come up and give us a little Chuck's Chuckles, and then I've got some announcements. Not before you've heard it.
Probably not after you've heard it either, so. Yesterday was P.J. O'Rourke's birthday. Born in 1947 right here in Toledo, Ohio, O'Rourke is an American political satirist and journalist. Thanks to his friendship with our own John Federke, he has spoken to our club twice. Here are some quotes from P.J. O'Rourke. Giving money and power to government is like giving whiskey and car keys to teenage boys. Always read stuff that will make you look good if you die in the middle of it. Politicians are wonderful people as long as they stay away from things they don't understand, such as working for a living. The Affordable Care Act, the Affordable Health Care for Americans Act, passed by the House of Representatives on November 7, 2009, was 1,990 pages long. You could stand on it to paint the ceiling. The entire U.S. Constitution could be printed on 8 pages. That's 8 pages to run a whole country for 221 years versus 4 reams of government pig Latin if you slam your thumb in a car door. The idea of a news broadcast once was to find someone with information and broadcast it. The idea now is to find someone with ignorance and spread it around. Iran and Iraq have been at war for 5 years now. The traditional present for a 5th anniversary is wood. Here's a gift suggestion: a big stick to beat some goddamn sense into their heads. And finally, fishing is a sport invented by insects, and you are the bait. P.J. O'Rourke.
Now you can clap. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. So our next meeting will be right here, November 22nd, and Toledo Rotarian Jamie Adams is going to talk about business website hackings and ransomware. So it should be a good one, especially for any business owners and nonprofits. So hope to see you all there. We have one meeting. The nominating committee will meet in the Georgian room. Thank you. And also on Wednesday, the International Service Committee will meet via Zoom at 8 a.m. So if you need some info on that and you didn't get an email, get in touch with Jackie or Danny Woodcock. And with that, we're adjourned.